If you would like to support this podcast, subscribing to the channel and sharing with others is a free way to do so. You can also leave feedback in the comments below or join my Discord. Disclaimer: this podcast is largely based on experience and opinion. Your own may differ. Please be respectful if you'd like to voice this. Also keep in mind this season was recorded in July and August of 2022, so information may be outdated or the guests may have differing opinions in the future. Alright guys, official. We've done it. We've reached the end of Say Chat Season 1. And it's been
Finally.
It's been 3 months in the making.
Actually, wait, should we be saying Pog or should we be saying Sad?
I don't know. I think it's
sad.
a little bit of mixture of both. It's been a roller coaster.
I want to say lol.
You want to say lol? It's the end for you guys. Me and Chef are gonna be in Season 2. So
That's true.
yeah,
That's me.
and I'm gonna pull you guys back in just so you guys know. Globe, holy KAHMEENA, I'm
I
pulling
will
you
be
in.
back for anyone watching. I will be back.
Yeah, you guys
You
are
better
going
watch
to
out.
make a reappearance. Holy, it might take a little bit longer because you got baby duties, but when you've returned to full power, I will pull you back in also and make you talk about things. So overall, this season has been absolutely crazy, but we've learned a lot, and I think we've discussed a lot of like the key elements of world versus world commanding, at least in my opinion. You know, we've covered mindset, we've covered motivations, we've covered the basics of what a world versus world commander sees and through the eyes of a commander. We've talked about your good, like the appeal and why you guys do this and continue tagging up. And so we've covered a huge broad range of things. And so I thought it was appropriate, and the panel agreed with me, that we end off the season with giving advice to people who want to start commanding, which is a huge conversation, and I know that we probably won't be able to cover like all of the advice. It can go into tips and tricks, it could go into things you wish you knew, it could go into like siege spots, it could go into all of this different stuff. Like, as a commander, there's so much to learn, and there's so much that a vet commander can pass down to a new commander. But we're gonna do our best in this. We're going to try and pass down the wisdom from all of you guys to new commanders. I am a new commander, so I want to learn all of this advice. But since our newest commanders are KAHMEENA and Globe, I'm going to have them speak first. We're going to start with KAHMEENA because he was very interested in starting the conversation and speaking about this subject and giving advice to people. For people who are interested in becoming commanders or have just started tagging up, perhaps, what are some of the things that you want to tell them, whether it's advice or things you wish you knew? Just generally, like, what is something or some things that you would pass down to someone?
So there's a couple of things, and I'm gonna like machine gun them. I need to like with some fun times of things, but there's a lot that I wish I knew starting out. From the first thing I'll say quickly is, we said this in other episodes, but find your style. I am the commander that not only does fights, and I love fights, but I also understand the value of PP. I will gladly put down seat and tip stuff. Boloka is hell. That is one of my tips. Boloka, I hate that place more than anything.
I'm putting a goat sound in there. He took up the bleep, guys. It's over.
Yep. I think that like one of the things is to really learn how to, either if you don't have somebody, or learn it yourself, how to delegate subgroups. Really, really important, and it's really, really like great to know. Try to learn seat spots if you're doing PBT. I wish I knew a lot of places, and every day that I get a new siege spot that I get told, like secret stuff, I get super giddy. Like, Chef gave me one recently, and it's like, I've used it like 3 times now, and people go, wait, what? It's absolutely incredible. You know, learn also the type of style if you do fights, how you do. If you're more of the pirate ship guy, or if you're more like full melee focused, design comps around it. There's so much material out there for you to go and learn. Not only this podcast, but so many other commanders. I would implore you to go look at them and ask questions to anybody that you possibly can. When I first started out, I was very green, and I was very. I knew what to do, but I didn't know what to do. And by the way, if you don't know green is a term for wrestling. But it's something that like I had learned how to deal with everything. And I guess the big thing before I give it to like everybody else in Globe, and I might go back if I can think of more things. But don't be afraid. My best advice, honestly, to somebody that's new is don't be afraid. Clap back if you need to. If someone is saying shit to you, just clap back. Because a lot of people, they don't know how to respond to it. So don't be afraid. And if you need help with backup, I got you.
Yeah, that's good advice. Globe, do you want to jump in here next as one of the newer commanders also?
Definitely.
Cool.
I will be talking from a bit more technical perspective, though. To have something different. Yeah, definitely. If you're starting out commanding, definitely look into how you can improve. Think about your squad, how you will have fun, and how they will have fun. And if it's winning, and it will most likely be winning, then just ask yourself, how do you do that? Make sure to reflect on what you do. Just be like, hey, did I do that right? Don't be afraid to ask in chat. Don't be afraid to speak out on any chat, rather. And yeah, just make sure to have fun throughout the whole thing.
So, what I'm hearing from both of you is that the biggest advice that you guys have for new commanders is just be like the sponge, right? Just sponge up all of the information that you find, whether it be like from the fights, like what you analyzed from the fights, or like community stuff. Is that like the right interpretation that I'm getting from that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
For me, at least. Yeah. Like,
Okay.
learning when you fight other people, how to deal with them, what you can improve upon the next day, spots to get, like another thing that I didn't touch upon, it's like you're going to feel overwhelmed, especially when there's multiple, ergs or groups going after you or things at once, and you go, do I go here, do I go there? You'll learn that over time. Right? Like, it's not going to be something not everyone is perfect. You're going to, right? You're going to go down, you got to get back up. Motto of like my own life, like you're not going to be perfect. Nobody is. You're going to learn. It's going to take a bit. And there's still, I think all of our sisters are learning, every single one of us here. So it's about doing what you need to do, learn more of all the information you can, and back to going at it. Learning and keep helping your squad. That's definitely, I think.
So
when I was new, I was scared of failing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be scared of failing.
So sponge it up and just keep going is generally what I'm getting from both of that. Like, as someone who's listening to the advice very, very personally, because I also want to tag up. But I'm going to throw it over to the vet players now, because we have a nice little balance of new commanders and vet commanders who've been commanding for generally a longer amount of time and have more experience in them. So, in terms of from a new commander's perspective, we have sponge it up and just keep pushing. Do you guys, as vet commanders, agree with that? Or do you have a different sort of advice that you would offer for new commanders getting into the mode?
No, that's really good advice. The biggest thing to know before you get started is that you're going to be incredibly flooded with the amount of information that you have to process as a commander. There's a ton of it, and the first thing to work on is just going to be trying to get a handle on that. But once you feel like you can mostly, handle the flow of a fight, you can mostly figure out positioning. One of the biggest things, for me at least, it kind of goes hand in hand with what KAHMEENA said, is to have a goal every time you tag up. Have one thing that you feel like you can improve on, one thing that you want to try and get better at, one thing that you want to try and correct from the last set of fights that you lost, but always try and be working on something and improving something rather than just like tagging up to go have fun with friends. Like the fun part is important, but if you want to get into that mindset of how to improve your commanding, pick something to work on and try to be deliberate about it.
Okay. Holy, do you agree with all of this?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all for the sponge philosophy kind of mindset. Follow as many commanders as you possibly can, and just watch, listen, observe, absorb everything they're doing. Other than that, I also have like more technical, or I guess rather systematic advice when it comes to World versus World. The short version is just go on YouTube, type in Reddish, and he'll teach you all the like stuff, the UI stuff that World versus World has. Sorry, quietly, can you hear the vacuum in the background?
No, but you do
No,
sound
but you
kind of
do sound a
muffled.
little weird.
Okay. Anyways, so for example, I noticed that sometimes some commanders don't notice that they can put tactics on structures. Like you have to open up the map or just click on it on the mini map, and then you can claim your objective and put in like tactics. And then they also don't know how like tiering upgrading objectives work, like how to go from tier 1 to tier 3. I guess they don't realize like how that's accomplished. They just think it happens automatically. I mean, it kind of does, but I mean that kind of stuff. That's really what I'm talking about. Let's see, what else did I see that I want to talk about? Oh, the team chat. If you open up your chat window, you have the option to show channel tag or in-world bubbles. It'll tell you when someone types in team chat what map they're talking from. Like, is that red map, blue map,
that's such
green
an
map?
important
Super
thing,
important.
because when you're colorblind or red-green colorblind like me, and team chat and map chat are the same color to you and they don't make any sense, yeah, that's very smart.
Yeah, so like I said, if you go to YouTube and watch Reddish, all his videos pretty much cover all these like essential, basic, fundamental things about the World v World UI panel. There's lots of things that people, I guess, when you're commanding, you don't think of. Like, you don't think about the objectives. You don't think about my objectives having tactics. You don't think about my objectives tiering up. So you just have to have this strategical mindset. So that's where I'll start and leave it off for now. I can talk about plenty of other things, but I'll let the rest of the people talk.
I actually am pretty interested in the way that you took it, because you more were like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, so if you learn the UI stuff, it'll take less pressure off and like lessen the flood of information that you get, right? Someone said that there's a huge flood of information you get as a commander. So that's part of
That
it.
was me.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
me and Chef.
Yeah, okay. So
It's
I'm going to roll with that, and I'm going to ask you guys to break it down a little bit more. Like, if you guys could help people lessen the flow of information so that they can, like, little tips and tricks that they can do now so that it makes it a little bit easier later on. What type of things would you guys throw out on the table? Like Holy was like, make sure the chat labels are on, right? I like putting you can like do like timestamp labels, I believe. So like I like putting that on, that way I know how long ago they were posted, type thing. What do you guys think? Like tiny things that will make it less overwhelming for commanders if they do it now and get used to it now, type thing.
If you're comping your party, start comping in party 2 and leave party 1 as the place where anyone new joins the squad so that you can sort them easily.
This is a really good one. Me, I think one of the things that like, a lot of people struggle on, and I did at first, is like learn how the scoring system works, like the entire score system, from what points that you get, for winning the war score, and what the war score actually is. That's mostly like why, because a lot of people don't understand or understand how pips work. People get confused about pips all the time, like asking me, if I put boosters on, does pips increase? Definitely think that that's something like it'll help you a lot and help a lot of people out as well.
So what I'm hearing is that like learn some of the general things. That way, like if people come into your chat and they're or squad and they ask some of these questions, basic answers like the pip thing, right? And things like that, which is nice because it does boost your confidence if you know like a few things like that. I don't think it's necessary maybe, but I do think it would help boost the confidence of commanders. I know personally that helps me with like
it's
stuff.
It's not only just boosting the confidence. Like the war score system is something that you should fundamentally learn if you're doing PP.
I'm not a commander, but in the terms of PPT, I do have a little bit of a thing like learn how the supply system works and like the supply flow. I think is huge, especially if you're PPTing, because if you strategize like cutting off the supply, this is how I would do it. At least I haven't actually commanded, so I'm probably not the best person to give this advice, but if I'm going to take a keep, or if I strategically want to take an enemy's keep, I'm going to start cutting off that supply earlier on and hitting those camps and hitting those towers so that I can cut off the supply beforehand so that they don't have anything to defend with, right? That's just strategically how I would do it. But I don't know, what are some other things that people should know how they work, or tips for commanders and things?
Yeah, I'll go next. If you're a new commander, another piece of advice I would give you would be put something in your squad message. Don't leave it blank. Put in a Discord, put in a website to the builds. Like I used to put in like Meta Battle or the Hardstuck website, whatever. And all they have to do is just copy and paste the link, and then they'll see what the world builds are. This is really more for like, I guess, the new players, because you're gonna encounter new players in World vs. World. They're gonna join your squad. They're not gonna know what's going on. So if in your squad message, if the player is, I guess, tentative enough, they'll read the squad message, and in my squad message it'll say, hey, if you want to join voice, I'm on this Discord, or hey, if you're unsure what world build you should be running, here's a website, it takes you to all the builds, just pick one and do it, and that kind of stuff. Or just type whatever message you want, really make it as personalized as possible. Just be like, hey, don't worry if we die, or sometimes I put in my squad message, just focus on your movement, positioning, reaction, you'll be fine.
To put this quickly, because I will forget if I don't say this actually comes up all the time. Basic keybind for this is P. Please hit P when you walk into World v. World, because there's so many people who come into World v. World, they don't see the chat of like it pop up in your chat window, and then they have no idea. And since not a lot of people do it, they look at this, they don't know how to get to the squad message. So you hit P, which is for the party, and then when you hit that button, I think that says, squad message will pop up, and you click it to get to the squad message. There's a lot of people that don't know this who joined with on me. And I did actually tell them now, make sure you hit P to get to the squad message, and I get a lot of people thank you for that. So it's definitely very smart to know, because even people who played for a lot of time don't even know that or didn't even realize that.
Speaking of squad messages, I kind of wonder if you guys would recommend them putting I'm a new commander into the squad message so that people know when they join that they're a new commander and they're learning, or whether you think that they should shy away from that type of thing.
So my technique that has not failed me yet is every time I tag up, I say that I'm a new commander, even though I don't feel like a new commander anymore. And it produces a much more healthy environment to play in. I think I'm at the point where people are probably starting to catch on, but most people who are just cycling in and out of squad aren't going to know. And then, when I start to get, fogged at commanding, they're going to be like, wow, he just started commanding and he's this good? That's crazy.
The deception is real.
That's funny. I want to try that.
Hey, my experience, and we talked about this last episode with how everyone's experiences are going to be a little different, but my experience has been that when I'm upfront about the fact that hey, I'm still learning how all this kind of stuff works, we're going to go out and we're going to fight, and that's what our goals are going to be, but be patient. We're going to work through some stuff. I'm working on improving. I experience very, very little toxicity.
I'll definitely try that and see how it works. Not a bad idea.
I
It's
feel
not a bad idea
like
at all.
generally, we talked about this a little bit in another episode, I believe, actually. We talked about how it would be cool to have some sort of system to see like if a commander had commanded or had tagged up under X amount of time in World versus World, and people were kind of like on the fence about that. So I was actually really interested in seeing your guys' answers to that, because it seems like, you know, the community is generally really, really open to allowing you to learn if you're honest about it. So I think like a huge advice, other than all of the advice that the panel has been giving so far, is just be really open about the fact that you're new. You're gonna be, and just say, look, I'm learning, I'm sponging up all of this information. Don't like give me feedback if it's like constructive feedback and stuff like that. And I think people would be really responsive to it. It sounds like they've been responsive to Chef and stuff like that. So yeah, you think they would be good along those lines?
I mean, if there's going to be people who are going to mess with that, then it is what you're honest up front. Most of the time, people are going to be.
I'd also say, like, let me get out that drum that I was banging on last episode really quick about like choosing what feedback you want to take. If you're starting out commanding and you're new and you're saying you're new and someone hops into your squad and they're like, hey, you're not doing well. Is this a person that you think will contribute anything of value to your process of learning how to command? My answer would be no. I think most people's answer should be no. But when you cast yourself as like, hey, I'm working on improving, this is my thing, and people are still toxic, it's an excellent flag for you to just never listen to anything they say ever again. True.
I can confirm this. I actually agree with that strongly. I don't know if I would block them because they might make callouts in team chat, but I agree with that. Yeah. I want to kind of cover the confidence, and I know we've talked about this in other episodes, having the confidence to tag up, and we've touched on a lot of different things about make sure you're sponging up the information, your little tips and tricks. What would you say to someone who wants to tag up, is really, really interested in tagging up, thinks they would do probably really well after they have the experience under their belt, but doesn't have the confidence to tag up currently?
I think I mentioned this once in a previous podcast episode. Play with your friends. Start off by just playing with your friends.
That was mine.
Play with your guildies. If you're playing with somebody that's you're very familiar with or very friendly with, then I mean, no problem. There won't be any judgment. There won't be a confidence issue. You guys are just I guess just messing around, playing the game, having fun. Yeah. And then from there, if you're tagged up, just randomly invite people. Strange as that may sound, but for whatever reason in World versus World, people don't they don't just willingly decide to join the tag even though there's a tag up. They still follow the tag, but they're not in the squad, which is kind of weird for me. So whenever I do that, I just invite them. I'm like, okay, just join my squad. You're already following me anyways. So do that. Just invite whoever you see out there. Pretty much it.
Interesting. Would you guys advise people to be in voice and Discord as a new commander, or would you more advise people maybe just tag up a few times without comms and then go into comms after that? Get your feet wet, that way that you don't have just in case there's a negative Nancy that hops into your voice chat, and it's much different getting the negative feedback in text versus getting the negative feedback in voice. You know what I mean? And it could be overwhelming if too many people are trying to be giving you advice. So what would you guys say with that?
Comms make you a better commander, but don't do things that you're uncomfortable with. I know that voice can be a sensitive subject for some people. Maybe some people don't have a mic. Maybe some people don't like the sound of their voice. Maybe some people are women and don't want to call attention to themselves, which is an unfortunate reality of being a woman in gaming. But being able to use comms, it's just faster to say things than type things. Like, full stop.
Yeah.
It's going to make you a better
That's-
commander to be able to speak rather than try and type what you're thinking.
I also think that what's it called again? I really have not had an issue with voice because most of the time people don't like what you're doing, or they'll just leave the Discord. I'm not gonna really say it's only just benefit you to get feedback essentially in real time, especially if somebody maybe has commanded help you out right then and there. I hate typing in chat, especially with my hands. So, but I still have to do it because not a lot of people want to join voice. So it's like, but I definitely do. Jeff, I think comms is almost like a secret sauce, like the KFC Italian herbs and spices and stuff like that to make it really good. Like, it's definitely try it if you can, even if you need to things or gain like that confidence.
I think it's a little different actually about that. I think as a new commander, as soon as possible, you should try to implement voice comms immediately, kind of, I guess. The reason why is because so you can practice commanding. It doesn't matter if you're by yourself, honestly, in the voice, Discord, whatever. You need to practice verbally commanding. You have to practice shot calling. So it's okay, I guess, if you want to just do non-voice. But like I said, as soon as possible, as soon as you can, get in voice, get other people to voice, and practice verbally commanding. It's the only way you're going to get better.
I do want to note one thing, which is that you don't have to use voice to command. You have to use voice if you want to fight. I think you're going to be just at too large of a disadvantage if you're trying to fight against other groups that are using comms and you're not, just from a pure reaction time standpoint. But you don't need to be able to speak to command. It's going to make your life a lot easier, but it's not a strict necessity.
True. I just wonder from a standpoint of, if you're very honest about being a new, say, hey, give me feedback and stuff like that. If obviously, people are very receptive to new commanders as long as they know that they're new. Like, if they don't know that they're new, there can be toxicity based on decisions made. But with all these people trying to be receptive and helpful and stuff like that, do you think it would be overwhelming if you got too many people in chat, in voice, who were like, oh, you should do this, oh, you should do this, and if it would like overwhelm the new commander and kind of like influence their play style in a bad way and steer them away from the way that they want to play and into what other people think they should be playing, which we brought up in another episode. You know what I mean? Like, do you think that, what's your advice in staying on like the path that you want to have as a commander and not letting all of these outside opinions steer, whether they're good feedback or bad feedback, steer the direction that you want to take as a commander?
I wouldn't worry about it. Like, most people in pug groups don't talk, and even fewer people in pug groups talk and give advice. I don't think you have to worry about information flood. I've had to worry about information flood when I'm playing with K&T, because in K&T everyone talks. We're an organized guild that's been playing together for years. Everyone is mic'd up. Everyone's got something to say. And so there, I've actually had to be the arbiter of my own decision making sometimes, because people in squad will disagree about what I should have done. But for like a pug group or someone just starting out who doesn't have that established community, I wouldn't worry about it. I consider yourself fortunate if anyone gives you advice at all. Honestly,
Yes.
would be the goal that I'd set.
Okay.
Okay.
We're at 30 minutes already. So I know that a few of us have to bounce here pretty quick. They have other PvE related things to do. So I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to ask for last statement for you guys on this commanding issue before I get a little mushy with our goodbyes for season 1. If you guys could sum up like one takeaway you got from this conversation, or one huge piece of advice that you would offer new commanders, what would that be?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say for me is it's gonna sound really cheesy. Like, believe in yourself, right?
Definitely. I also do have to say that, even though I haven't been talking much, believe in yourself. Definitely. Have the confidence.
Like, from a quote from my favorite character of all time, and what I got my name off of: believe in yourself, And if you don't believe in yourself, believe in me, because I believe. It's one of those things that just like it really hits home because it's like so many people just don't have like the confidence or anything, right? It's just, regardless of whatever we talked about, whatever the circumstances you may have, you're low intensity like me, if you feel like, like you may not be good enough or whatever the case may be, just believe in yourself. It's a game. Have fun. We'll get better. Practice and put the time and effort. We'll get better. And if you need help, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to not be perfect. So you gotta understand that. You gotta, the first thing you gotta do is you gotta believe in yourself. That can be one hell of a command. My general wrapping up.
Yeah, it's.
That's it.
I mean, I like cheesy. What about the two vet commanders in the chat? What's the big piece of advice you would give?
Go for it, Holy. Steal my answer again. I dare you.
Never give up. Never surrender.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect, because my answer was exactly the opposite.
Oh, okay,
Anyways.
good.
Oh.
Anyways, so
Your answer was always
Give up and surrender.
Yeah.
expect to die a lot. But that's okay. Just keep trying. Fellow gamers, Guild Wars 2 players, we need more commanders. Please, I'm begging you. I need you to command world versus world.
This man's about to have a child. Let him retire.
Yeah.
I feel like in the past Guild Wars 2 there was a lot of commanders because the game was more popular. I think we are on the verge of a resurgence. I definitely feel like once Alliances comes out, things will be better. There will be a lot more commanders. People will be forced to step up because I guess it's going to be a bit more competitive. So for now, what I would tell everybody is get ready. It's going to go wild. Start practicing commanding ASAP so you can be ready for Alliances and you're going to have lots of fun. Promise.
True. Okay, Chef, let's hear the exact opposite advice.
Yeah, my exact opposite advice is it's okay if you don't like commanding. You don't have to. Like, give it a shot. See if you like it, because you're never going to know if you enjoy commanding until you actually sit down and try it out. But also, if you try out commanding and you're like, man, this really doesn't feel like it's for me,
That's
just
okay.
don't. It's okay. There's other commanders. You can pick up the slack. It's more enjoyable for everyone in the game if the people who command are the people who truly enjoy it and get gratification out of doing it. And you don't have to force yourself to do something you don't like in a video game.
Fair. Globe, do you want to say any more? I know you kind of like agreed with KAHMEENA, but do you have like a piece of advice that you specifically have, or?
Hey, as the last one to say anything again, I mostly agree with what everyone said, and I just want to continue on with do not give up. You can do it, even if you think you can't. Everyone has it in them.
Mm-hmm. So, kind of summing that up, give it a fair shot, right? Definitely try it, but if you don't like it, after you've given it a fair shot, it's okay to just like pass the tag on to someone else.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely something that makes you better at the game mode. Commanding will make you a better world versus world player, but not everyone has the time, interest, energy, capacity, to make that commitment. Commanding takes time. Getting good at commanding takes time. It takes having, some specialized equipment. You're probably going to need a mic. It really helps to have a mouse that has a lot of keybinds on it for squad markers. You have to be personable and enjoy talking to people. And, if the amount of time that you would need to put into commanding to get good at it is more time than you have available, that's okay. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to wrap it up, which means that we've basically wrapped up season 1, guys. It's actually kind of crazy to say that we've recorded all of season 1 and that we've like reached this milestone and stuff like that. I've been super honored to have you guys on, and you guys have made this process really, really nice and like smooth for me as I've tried to figure everything out. So I probably say this all the time, but I really appreciate that you guys took the time out of your busy schedules and gave Say Chat a chance. And I'm not gonna go on forever because I could go on forever, but I know other people have things that they need to do. So
This man needs to go lead a wing long training.
I know. We're holding him back. We're holding him
I
back.
think I also have.
It was a
again,
pleasure
I
to
need
be
lay
here
down.
for the.
Yeah, and Kamina's not feeling well, so I'm just gonna leave it at
My
that.
wife is going to labor.
Could you imagine?
Oh no!
Oh my goodness! But
Since we're all listing crises, my Dragon Stand meta starts in 9 minutes. So
oh my god! Okay, we really gotta go now,
I'm not
guys.
begging
That's
for it, I
like.
just need to go get some.
It was a pleasure to be here. Now we're going to go off.
Everyone, dart out. Peace.
Oh, there goes Globe. He's out of here. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for being part of this. Thank you guys, everyone on YouTube who's listened to the first season. We have started the process of doing season 2 now. Chef will be joining again for season 2, and I have a few other people who will be joining for season 2 that I'll be announcing within the next week because Say Chat will keep on schedule, hopefully. I'm planning on just picking up season 2 the next Tuesday after this one, or the Tuesday after that. I'm not sure yet. Details will be posted. But thank you guys so much for all of the support and everything like that, and the panel for joining. Again, post comments below, join the conversation, join my Discord, join Hardstuck Discord. A lot of these guys are part of Hardstuck or have been part of Hardstuck in the past and have done like the whole initiative and Hardstuck and stuff like that. I don't know what else to say to wrap up season 1, to be honest. So I guess we'll talk to you in season 2, chat.